Well, it speaks to they're a great team, first and foremost, Vinny. They do that every night. They have the best record in the NBA. They have the number one offense in the NBA, and no one seems to be able to stop that team. So kudos to them.
Similar situation to last game where they go now 23 of 48 from the three-point line. Just how does the team continue to get out and prevent those attempts?
Well, it's hard. I mean, they lead the league in threes attempted. That's how their roster's been built. You look at their roster, I think they have 7 guys shooting over 40% from three. We have 2. I mean, they have shooting everywhere, off the bench, starting lineup. They get him in transition. They get him off pick and rolls. They have 2 dynamic rollers in Allen and Mobley. Donovan Mitchell had 25 in the first half. We started getting aggressive in the second half. He only had 8. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge, Ryan, to guard the three-point line against that team because they get it in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. But 149 points, obviously, and 23 made threes is not going to cut it. I think that the really important, decisive stretch of that game was second quarter. It was a 21-2 run. Quarters 1, 3, and 4. It's an even game, but just one stretch in that second quarter against that team, and really when you play them, there is no margin for error. And we had a play tonight off of a dead ball when no one had Sam Merrill. There's 5 guys on the court looking around at each other, not talking, and we leave one of the best shooters wide open for a 3. So loose ball, they get a 3, they win the 50-50 battle. So those are the types of plays that you have to prevent if you have any chance of beating that team because they're playing at such a high level.
Coach, can I ask kind of a philosophical question? Because there's some people who think it's just too much three-point shooting in general across the, is it bad for basketball or is it just the evolution of the game?
I can't answer that. I think each team's got to do what's best for their own team. We're not a high volume three-point shooting team. That's not the makeup of our roster, to be quite honest. Their roster, they have that. Is it too much? Is it too little? I don't know. I mean, the game is always changing. And with the evolution of the three-point shot, teams are taking more and more because there's more value in them. I mean, there's a big debate right now. I don't give a shit about that debate. I'm trying to coach my team and try to get us to play a lot better than we have been. And it's not going to get any easier. Got a really gritty, tough team in Detroit coming in here tomorrow night that's playing at a high level. So quick turn of the page and let's get ready to go to battle.
Coach, on Monday you guys only allowed 90 points tonight. Different story. What do you notice as the differences when you guys do perform well on defense compared to a night like tonight?
Yeah, good question. Obviously, you have one of our best performances of the year against Phoenix at home, and then to give up 149. And, at halftime they had 80. I'm like, they're on pace for 160, man. This is going old school NBA, where it's just up and down. But when we're at our best, we have tremendous discipline. We have tremendous fly-around, multiple effort mentality, and great communication. And where we're not defending well, we're not disciplined, we're not communicating, and we have very little multiple effort. And I think you don't have to be a member of Mensa to look at us and to see which team we are on any given night. And that's the unfortunate thing. I felt we did some good things, but when they went on that big run in the second, I felt like that kind of deflated us and we competed in the second half. I think once again, tie score in the third, we got scored by 1 in the fourth, but that 13-point deficit in that second was a deciding factor.
It seems like you guys have been pretty consistent in terms of fighting over screens at times this season too. Is that something that guys can kind of just get their at-with reps over the course of the season?
You hope so. We have to. Yeah, I mean, because and each team is different, but Cleveland, they're one of the higher volume pick and roll teams in the league. They lead the NBA in drags, double drags. They're second in overall direct picks per game. So you're going to see, we try to do different things. We try to zone outside out of bounds. We try to cross match a little bit. Second half, we blitzed a little bit. But when it's that high volume of pick and rolls, Bennett, you need your ball handler against the likes of Garland and Mitchell, who are great pull-up three-point shooters, to be able to navigate that screen and fight over and give great rear-view pursuit. And sometimes we do a good job of that, and other times we struggle. But just think about it. I mean, Dean Wade hits 3, Mobley hits 4, Mitchell hits 6, LeVert hits 3, Merrill hits 3. I mean, it's pick your poison with that team. And as I mentioned, I mean, they're on pace for around 71, 72 wins at the moment. So give them a lot of credit.
You mentioned that you're not a three-point volume shooting team, and you've won. Like, you're still over 500 despite that, right? But is part of this that you're facing this season that the margin for error is so much smaller because you're up against that kind of disadvantage night by night if you guys aren't completely sharp?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is, you know, I'm sure that you guys have probably done some analytical studies on this, but so we're an elite offensive team. Like we're top 5 offense every season for 6, 7 years running now. And we've never been a high volume 3-point shooting team. So where our bread is buttered is in the paint. We dominate the paint. You know, tonight we had 68. First time we played them, we had 78. And so it's the old school battle between 2s versus 3s. And obviously this year we're 16 and 13. We have a very good offense. Our defense isn't where it needs to be. And if you're not going to make a lot of 3s, last year we were okay because we were second and only giving up 11.3. So that's the big difference this year from last year is that, all right, well, we're still not making and taking a lot of 3s, but we're giving up and allowing so many more made 3s. And that differential is crucial, and I think playing a big part into some of our struggles, to be honest.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
See you soon. Jamal and Nicole tonight.